Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join me as we explore Southwest's lost historical characters, stunning desert vistas, forgotten Native American history, or tales of lost gold mines. There's always something new to discover. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Sit back and enjoy. Welcome to Southwest Desert, where we explore the forgotten stories of the American Southwest. Today, we're diving into the fascinating tale of Unionville, Nevada, a once bustling silver mining town that rose and fell with the dreams of fortune seekers in the 1860s. It's a story of ambition, survival, and the relentless march of progress that would ultimately lead to the town's demise. Let's turn back the clock to 1860. The Comstock lode was the crown jewel of the West, its silver mines drawing fortune seekers from across the country. But as with any gold rush, or in this case, silver rush, timing was everything. In Virginia City, the heart of the Comstock region, many men had arrived just a bit too late to stake their claim on the major bonanzas. These latecomers were desperate for a second chance at fortune, their dreams of wealth still burning bright. That's when the whispers began. Rumors started circulating about rich silver deposits in the Humboldt Range. For a dozen families in the overcrowded Comstock region, these rumors were enough to spark action. They packed their wagons and headed north, establishing a settlement they called Humboldt City. But this was just the prelude to our story. In the spring of 1861, a remarkable prospecting party set out from Humboldt City. The group was led by Captain Hugo Fersdorf and J.C. Hannon, but what made it truly unique was its composition. Alongside these frontier entrepreneurs were 4 Paiute Native Americans and 2 Burros. This diverse band of explorers would change the region's history forever. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan on another Southwest adventure. If you would like to help support my channel and hit the super thanks heart icon on the bottom of the video and contribute. This is very helpful. Relax and enjoy. After a challenging climb to the crest of the Humboldt Range, the party looked down upon a sight that must have made their hearts leap. A canyon blessed with flowing water, stretching eastward into the distance. They named this promising valley Buena Vista, beautiful view in Spanish. But it wasn't just the view that excited them. They discovered rich silver outcroppings in the area. Within days, they were racing back to Humboldt City with news of their discovery. The response was immediate and overwhelming. By July 4, 1861, barely months after the discovery, enough settlers had flooded into the canyon to warrant a proper Independence Day celebration. The frontier spirit was alive and well, and 3 days later the founders made a shrewd move that would accelerate the town's growth. They plotted out the site of what would become Unionville. Now here's where the founders showed their business acumen. They devised an ingenious plan to attract settlers and build infrastructure simultaneously. Every man who contributed 2 days of work on the public road and invested $50 in improving their lot would receive a prime building location absolutely free. It was a 19th century version of sweat equity, and it worked brilliantly. The excitement around Unionville soon caught the attention of the press, particularly the territorial enterprise of Virginia City. In an era when newspaper reporters could transform modest discoveries into legendary bonanzas through the magic of printed words, the Enterprise's mining reporter outdid himself. His report about Unionville stands as perhaps the most optimistic mining assessment ever penned. I shall express an honest opinion based on a thorough examination, the reporter declared. Humboldt County is the richest mineral region upon God's footstool. Each mountain range is gorged with the precious ore. The other day, an assay of mere croppings yielded $4,000 to the ton. A week or two ago, an assay of just such surface development made return of $7,000 to the ton. Each day, and almost every hour, reveals new and startling evidence of the profuse and intensified wealth. Have no fears of the mineral resources of Humboldt County. They are incalculable. This glowing report, published before the mines had produced even a single wagon load of ore, sparked a rush. From Salt Lake to San Francisco, the cry rang out, "On to the Humboldt!" Among those who answered this siren call was a young newspaper reporter who would later become one of America's most celebrated authors, 26-year-old Samuel Clemens, better known to history as Mark Twain. In December 1861, Clemens joined A.W. Oliver, the newly appointed probate judge for Humboldt County, and W.H. Claggett, an attorney at law, on a grueling 200-mile journey to Unionville. Their arrival, as Clemens would later recount in his book Roughing It, was far from glamorous. On the 15th day, we completed our march of 200 miles and entered Unionville, Humboldt County, in the midst of a driving snowstorm. Unionville consisted of 11 cabins and a liberty pole. The rest of the landscape was made up of bleak mountain walls that rose so high into the sky from both sides of the canyon that the village was left, as it were, far down in the bottom of a crevice. The harsh reality of frontier life quickly became apparent to the newcomers. Clemens continued, "We built a small, rude cabin in the side of the crevice and roofed it with canvas, leaving a corner open to serve as a chimney. It was very cold and fuel was scarce." But despite these humble beginnings, Unionville grew at an astonishing pace. By the spring of 1863, just 2 years after its founding, more than 200 cabins dotted the canyon slopes. These weren't your typical frontier structures, the scarcity and high cost of milled lumber forced settlers to be creative. While newspapers quoted dimension stock at $250 to $300 per 1,000 feet, local records show that lumber used in one 2-story house, which still stands today, was ox-freighted to Unionville at the staggering cost of $1 per foot. Most buildings were constructed of log and stone, with roofs thatched in a distinctive old-world style using wild rye grass. The grass was tied in bundles and laid on the roofs, butts down, secured to rafters with rawhide thongs, a perfect example of frontier ingenuity adapting to local conditions. By its second birthday, Unionville had transformed from a handful of cabins into a proper frontier town with an assessed valuation of $187,763, a fortune in those days. The single narrow street that wound for 2 miles through the canyon was lined with an impressive array of businesses. 15 stores, including general mercantiles and meat markets, 2 pharmacies, jewelry stores, 9 saloons and a brewery, 2 hotels, 2 express offices, 4 livery stables, and even a dentist. Perhaps no event better captured the town's growing sophistication than the establishment of its newspaper, the Humboldt Register. On the evening of May 3, 1863, as the first ink-wet copies came off the press, a rifle brigade formed ranks in front of the office and fired a salvo of 9 blasts. By midnight, the new 4-page publication and its editor, W.J. Forbes, had been celebrated with 34 anvil salutes and toasted with gallons of imported champagne. That summer of 1863 saw a continued influx of prospectors and camp followers. From the alkaline flat at the mouth of the canyon to the white crest of the Humboldts, property was being staked at a frenzied pace. The county recorder and 7 deputies were kept busy recording claims, while everyone speculated wildly in feet, as mining shares were then known. Yet beneath this apparent prosperity, editor Forbes, known for his sharp wit, noticed something concerning. After 2 years of operation, many speculative mining properties hadn't even driven their tunnels deep enough to protect themselves from rain. It was a telling observation that hinted at the somewhat superficial nature of much of the activity. The logistics of supplying this boomtown were impressive. Virtually all outside commodities were freighted from Red Bluff, California, by way of Honey Lake. During the summer of 1863, ox-drawn freight wagons arrived in Unionville at the rate of a dozen or more daily. The scale of these operations was staggering. A single flour mill at Red Bluff shipped 85 tons of flour to Unionville. Freight rates varied from 7 to 14 cents per pound, reflecting the challenging nature of the journey. The town continued to develop its connections to the outside world. In 1864, a tri-weekly pony express was established between Idaho City, Idaho, and Virginia City by way of Unionville. The service delivered Virginia City newspapers from the previous day, helping to reduce the sense of isolation. That same year, telegraph service was established, seemingly cementing Unionville's place in the modern world. But progress can be a double-edged sword. As Unionville fought for better transportation and communication links, it couldn't have known that these very advances would ultimately lead to its downfall. The decisive moment came when the long-awaited Pacific Railroad chose its route and bypassed Unionville completely. Instead, the rails would follow the Humboldt River on the far side of the mountains. This decision gave life to a small settlement called Winnemucca, 50 miles to the north on the Humboldt River. Initially, no one in Unionville paid much attention to this rival town. But with the railroad providing the accessibility that Unionville lacked, Winnemucca began to grow in importance and ambition. What followed was a bitter political struggle that would seal Unionville's fate. Winnemucca launched a campaign to steal the county seat from Unionville. The first attempt failed at the ballot box, but Winnemucca's supporters were persistent. They petitioned the state legislature twice, and on their second attempt they succeeded. Although Unionville appealed to the state Supreme Court, the decision stood. In 1873, county officials packed up their records and moved them to Winnemucca, ending Unionville's 11-year reign as the seat of Humboldt County. This loss of status came at the worst possible time. The town was already reeling from the railroad snub and a devastating fire that had destroyed an entire block of its business district. While the Arizona mine had been a success, producing between $5 and $6 million in silver, the district's other mines had never lived up to the grandiose predictions of those early newspaper reports. When the government's devaluation of silver forced even the profitable Arizona mine to close, Unionville's fate was sealed. Today, Unionville stands as a ghost town, its remaining structures silent witnesses to the boom and bust cycle that defined the American West. Its story is a powerful reminder that progress doesn't always follow the path we expect. The same forces of modernization that Unionville embraced, the railroad, the telegraph, improved transportation, ultimately contributed to its decline. The dream of silver brought people to this narrow canyon, but it was the iron horse, that great symbol of progress, that led them away. In the end, Unionville's tale is not just about silver or settlement or even survival. It's about the unpredictable nature of progress and the eternal human hope that just around the next bend lies a better future. This has been Southwest Desert. Join us next time as we explore another forgotten chapter of the American Southwest. Happy trails. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.